when you're creating a lease, you have to fill out the F&I screen to complete the process. The F&I screen for a lease can be a bit intimidating at first glance, but if you break it down section by section and find out how those sections work together to come up with the total periodic payments, then it's not that bad. So we're going to go section by section and hopefully make it easier to understand how to complete the F&I screen for a lease. The first section is your base lease info section. So we have our type of lease as in-house, the lease date, the agreed upon price is being brought over from when I stocked my car into inventory. My residual is defaulted at 15%, which gives me a residual amount of $3,000, which will be due at the end of the term. And that will be what the least amount of money the customer would have to pay if they wanted to purchase the vehicle at the end of the lease. The residual amount is what you're saying you have determined the car will be worth if this lease is carried to term. The next section is the itemization of fees. Here you've got your clerical fees, title fees, registration, acquisition fees, and then any other fees that you come up with or are allowed to charge as a dealer. Your warranty would also be included in your fees if you provide a warranty for the leased vehicle. So I have the clerical fee of $150, title fee, and a registration fee. And then my sales tax is $1,400. Now, I have the ability to include or exclude any of my fees in the cap cost reduction. So what that means is that those fees, if I include them in the cap cost, they would be due throughout the term of the lease, not due at signing. So I'm going to go ahead and say my taxes are due up front. I'm not going to check that. But the other ones you can see are defaulted to be paid during the term of the lease. So they are going to be rolled in to the finance portion of the lease. The next section is your cash and equivalents section. This is where you're going to document or bring over from inventory the required down payment. And if you're going to accept a trade-in, then you would document the allowance that you're going to provide for that trade. These payment amounts can be used a little later to help reduce what is due at signing. So you can use the cash down and trade to offset due at signing costs. I'll show you how and where you'll do that in just a second. The summary of capitalized section shows you all the fees that you've allowed to be included in the capitalized cost. So this is just a total of the fees I have. I'm not offering any credit life, gap, accident health, and I'm not in Florida, so I don't have doc stamps. But if you did provide those or you are a Florida dealership, then that information would also be included in the capitalized costs. Under that section, we have our working cash. This is where you can take your cash down and net trade and say that you want to designate those to help drive down due at signing costs. Currently, they're being included in the deal recap. So when all is said and done, my gross cap cost minus my non-tax cap cost reduction, which is your cash and equivalents, would give me my adjusted net cap cost, or the similar amount to a principal amount, a loan amount. But it's called an adjusted net cap cost in a lease. Now, if I don't want to include all of my cash and equivalents in the deal recap, I can check signing, and then we'll move just directly to the right, and you can see that the due at signing box now includes the $2,000 down payment to help offset the due at signing costs. So if I uncheck, then you'll see my due at signing is $3,900. That's the $2,000 plus all the due at signing fees that I have. If I check the $2,000, then all that becomes due at signing is the down payment, and we've offset the remaining cap cost reduction with that $2,000. So it's up to you whether you want to use the cash down or collect everything that's due when they sign the lease term papers. At the top right of the screen, you have your payment information section. If you set up your company defaults, then your lease rate will be populated here, and your payment frequency and number of payment defaults would be also available here. You can edit those if necessary. And then here you see your payment, the actual payment information. So I have 36 base payments of $619.93. Then your base payment in a lease, you can tax payments as well as a sale price. So in this example, our payments are being taxed at a rate of $43.40 per payment. So your base payment plus your tax gives you your regular periodic payment of $663.33. This is what a customer would pay every month throughout the term of the lease. And then, like we said in the beginning, the residual amount of $3,000 will be due at the end of the term, which in this case would be March 2018. I'm charging a security deposit, which if you're allowed to do so and you want to do so, then you can charge during the lease. A security deposit you're going to hold until the end of the lease and either refund it, or based on the condition of the vehicle or whether it's an early term or a repossession, you can use that security deposit as a credit later on if you don't refund it. So I've got my due it signing information, which we already discussed. And then at the bottom of the screen, I've got my lease summary information. So I've got my total due it signing. I'm going to ask for everything up front. So I've got $3,900 due at signing. My rent charge is $7,017.48. And your rent charge is similar to a finance charge in a retail loan. So your rent charge will be added to your adjusted net cap cost to get you your total periodic payments. So this is the total amount being financed in the lease. And that's how you fill out the Lease F&I screen when you're creating a lease. It can be a bit intimidating at first, but if you break it down section by section and you know how those sections work together, then it's a little easier to understand how you come to this total periodic payments in the lower right corner of your screen. Once you're finished, you would complete the tabs and then save your lease, print your documents, and have the customer sign the lease contract.